Hello guys, welcome to this channel. So in today's tutorial we'll be learning how to make this beautiful gown. So if this looks like what you would want to learn, do not forget to hit on the like and the subscribe button. Do well by turning on your notification bell so you can get notified when next we upload new tutorials. Please like this video, share so that YouTube can make it go viral, so that other soulmates can get to watch this as well. This tutorial is actually detailed and very simple and easy to make. I've made it so easy for you to understand. So guys, let's get straight into the video. So guys, I'll be using this fabric for this tutorial. This is crepe. The wine is actually shining material. So it's a crepe material. Both are crepes and it's about 2 yards each. So if you're on a bigger size, you can actually use 2.5 or so. So now I'm just going to be marking my half length, which is 15 inches. Okay, just go ahead and mark. This is our half length. Then from this side I'll be marking 4 inches because it's going to be a wrap gown. So just go ahead and mark 4 inches or 5 if you want it fully covered, but 4 is totally okay for me. So now I'm going to be marking my shoulder measurement, which is 14 divided by 2 is 7, and I marked 2.5 inches for the neck width. From that 7 I came down by 1 inch to get my shoulder slope. If you have been following this channel, you should be familiar with this. So from the shoulder line I'll be marking my bust point measurement, which is 9.5 inches. Then I'll connect from your shoulder to your nipple is your bust point. Okay, so from this bust point I'll be going up by 1.5 to get my chest line. Okay, I'll be going up by 1.5 to get my chest line. So this is my chest line. So I'll be taking the measurement I have on my shoulder, which is 7 inches. I'll be marking it on my chest line so that I can get my armhole line. So I'll go ahead and connect like so. So this is our armhole line. So remember, I'm going to get the midpoint of this armhole line. Okay, then I'll mark it. From there I'll go in by half of an inch or 3/4 of an inch if you are working with a bigger size. Then I'll divide my round bust measurements by 4. What I have is 8.5. I went ahead to mark. Then I'm going to connect these 3 lines together just like you see me doing. So this is our armhole curve. So the next thing, I'm going to be adding my allowance of 1.5 inches. Okay, so on the waistline I'll be dividing my round waist measurement by 4. What I have is 7.25, so I'll be adding 1 inch that and 1.5 inch seam allowance. Okay, so I'll go ahead and connect. You can decide to add 2 inches allowance, but 1.5 is okay for me. So guys, from I'll be marking my bust span measurement from my nipple to nipple, which is 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. So I mark 3.5 on the chest line and on the waistline. For the dart intake, remember our dart intake is 1 inch. So I'll be marking half of an inch on both sides. Then from the bust point, I'll come down by 1 inch before connecting. If you have been following this channel, you should be familiar with this. Okay, so guys, the next thing, for the neck measurement, for the neck width, I'll be using 4. So just go ahead and mark 4. Then I'll connect from that point to this other side. Okay, that extension we made earlier. Just go ahead and watch what I'm doing. If you don't understand what I'm saying, remember the 4 inches we marked initially before starting. So I'll be extending that measurement. So this is our front pattern. Also, I discovered that the 4 inches I mark is not going to be well covered for me, so I made it 5 inches. Okay, so if you are drafting, make sure you use 5, not 4. So I just went ahead. I don't want my cleavage to show, so I just went ahead to extend. So I'll be cleaning up this first line so that we don't get confused. Okay, so this is basically it for the front pattern. I've gone ahead to cut the front pattern. So next we'll be drafting the back pattern. Okay, so for the back I'll still use the same half length of 15 inches. I'll go ahead and connect like so, and also I'll be marking 1.5 inches as a zipper allowance. Okay, so go ahead and mark 1.5 for your zipper allowance. So and I'll be marking my shoulder measurement, that's 14 divided by 2, which is 7, and 2.5 inches neck width. I came down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, and I've gone ahead to get my to connect like so. From the shoulder line, I went ahead to mark my bust point again, although this is not necessary, but want to get the chest line. So I went up by 1.5 to get my chest line, and that's what we'll be using. So I'll transfer the measurement I have on my shoulder to my chest line to get my armhole line. Right now, I'll divide my round bust measurement by 4. I'll mark, which is 8.5. Then I'll go ahead and connect to get my armhole curve. Okay, so this is the back armhole curve. I went ahead to add 1.5 inch allowance, and also on the waistline I'm going to be dividing my waist measurement by 4, which is 7 1/4. I added 1 inch that and 1.5 inches allowance, and I went ahead to connect like so. Okay, so for the neck width I'll be using 4 inch, and the neck depth I actually used 3, but later on I discovered that it was too low for me. I went ahead to make it 2 inches instead. Okay, so for the back I went up by 1.5 inch, and I'll be connecting it to the side like so. Okay, from the center back, because once our zip to sit well at the back, we'll be cutting this part off. So as you can see, I went ahead to mark 2 inches instead. I'll not be using 3 as the neck depth. So this is it for the back pattern. Here are pattern for the front and the back. The next thing, I'll go ahead and transfer to my fabric. So guys, after I was done transferring, I added half of an inch on the shoulder, the neck, and also on the waistline. Okay, and also I went ahead to cut my facing for the back. I didn't make it to be long, it's actually short for me. And also I've gone ahead, I actually forgot to mark my dart line. So as you can see, I went ahead to transfer to mark my dart line, and I'll be transferring this dart to my fabric. Just go ahead and notch that point. Okay, then I'll head over to my sewing machine. I'll stitch the dart on the wrong side, please. Okay, and also this is the front. I've gone ahead to transfer to my fabric. I added half of an inch all around, aside the armhole and at the side. So I went ahead to notch this overlap area. Please take note of that point. And also I'll be notching this dart line, okay, so that we can go ahead and stitch our dart. Please, you'll be stitching the dart on the wrong side of your fabric. I have just 2 pieces for the front. Okay, so the next thing, I'm going to be cutting, remember this other part at the front, I'm going to be marking 2.5 inch here. And also when you are going to locate, you locate the midpoint and mark another 2.5, and at the hem of this I'll be marking 1.5 inch. But I discovered that I can actually mark 2 inches, but I discovered that the 2 inches is too wide for me, so I marked 1.5, and I connected to my 2.5 at the center. And at the shoulder line I'll be marking 2 inches instead, not the 2.5. Okay, so if you can see, I've gone ahead to mark it out. So this is 2 inches. I'll not be making use of this 2.5 inch. So this is what we'll be using to turn the front. Okay, this is what we're using to turn the front. So I've gone ahead to transfer to my fabric, and I added half of an inch all around. Okay, so I'll be cutting 4 pieces for this part. Make sure you cut 4 pieces. Okay, because we'll be using one as the lining and one as the main fabric. So guys, next I'll be stitching on this side that has a curved part. Can you see? From my pattern there is a part that is curved, so that's the part I'll be stitching using half of an inch. I'll go behind the camera, stitch it, and show you what it looks like. Also, I've gone ahead to draft the skirt part for this gown. If you want to know how to achieve this, I have a detailed tutorial on my channel. Kindly go do well by watching for better understanding. So I'll go ahead and stitch my dart both on the lining and the main fabric separately. So this is also the back pattern. I'll go ahead and stitch the dart as well on the lining and the main fabric. For the sleeve, this is our basic sleeve pattern. I also have a tutorial on how to draft a basic sleeve pattern. So guys, it was on a fold, and what I measured was 7.5, so I added half of an inch extra, making it 8. take note of that measurement. So I folded my fabric into four like this, and the height of my, returning the sleeve, the height is what I'll be using is 4. So I'll be marking that 8 inches that I said earlier. Go ahead and mark 8 inches, okay? Instead of the 7.5, it's better you have excess than for you to have shortage. So I'm going to be marking it. Then the sleeve, the turn up has is going to be like an overlap, okay? So I marked half 1 inch at the top, then I'm going to connect like so. So I'll be adding half of an inch. I'll be cutting this out, okay? Just go ahead, watch what I'm doing if you don't understand what I'm saying. So I'm going to be cutting 4 pieces. I'll stitch this side using half of an inch. I'll go to my sewing machine. I'm going to be sewing and show you guys. After I was done sewing, this is what it looks like, okay? So you see, this is it. When you turn it to the wrong side, this is what it looks like. Right now I've gone ahead to stitch. As you can see, I've turned it to the right side, and I gave it a good press. Can you see we actually stitched the side, the curved part, okay? I'm going to keep this aside, and I've also gone ahead to stitch my dart, and I gave it a good press. This is the front, and here's the back as well. Please, you're going to be doing it on the 2 piece. So for this, remember we'll be using this facing to turn the front, okay? So I'm going to be placing it to the wrong side of the front. Just place the facing on the wrong side of the front. Then I'm going to be turning it like this. After stitching, I'll turn it to the right side so that it can fall in place. It would look like this. I'll be stitching alongside my hemming gun, please, so that by the time we iron, it can stay in place. For the back, I'm going to be placing it on the right side facing each other, and I'll stitch the neck, okay? Also guys, for this other side that is closed, I'm going to be opening it up, okay? We are going to be stitching the other side, this other part, okay? As you can see, one side is the two sides, one is actually longer than the other, so we'll be stitching on the side that is longer, okay? And we'll be leaving the side that is not long, we'll be leaving it open. So as you can see, this is 9 inch and this is 8.5. So I'll be stitching the up. I'll turn it to the wrong side and I'll stitch using half of an inch. Now this is the midpoint of our sleeve, and on the wrong side, please, you are going to be placing it like this. After I was done sewing, can you see, so that they can lap each other? Can you see what I'm saying? So I'll be doing this on the wrong side of our fabric, then I'll stitch and turn it to the right side, okay? And also for the lining, I've gone ahead to stitch my dart, and I'm going to be sewing the hem of this gown, and also I'll be stitching the zipper allowance side. I'll do that and show you what it looks like. For the front, I've stitched the dart as well, and I'm going to be joining the lining together with this. I'll stitch the hem of my skirt together with my lining. I'll do that behind the camera and show you what it looks like. So guys, after I was done sewing, this is what it looks like for my sleeve. I'll turn it right now to the right side. Can you see that this is actually overlapping each other? I'll use my needle and thread. I'm going to be tacking this button to it. After tacking, I've done the second sleeve. This is what it looks like, okay? So I'll go ahead and sew the side allowance. So I'll do this other second one and show you what it looks like. Please make sure you do this very well. Cut this excess allowance. I've gone ahead to turn my neckline for the back and also for the front. I used my hemming gun. As you can see, it's lying perfectly well, it's staying well. So the next thing, I'm going to be placing them, the back and the front together, right side facing each other, and I'll be using the back facing to turn this. Just watch what I'm still doing if you don't understand what I'm saying. So I'll use the back facing, I'll stitch using half of an inch. I'll do the same thing to the other side as well. After doing that, I'm going to be joining these fronts together. You remember the place we notched earlier? So that overlap, I'm going to be placing the two together, and I'll head over to my machine. I'll stitch and make it one piece, okay? So guys, after I was done doing that, this is what it looks like, and I've gone ahead to join the shoulder. Can you see this is actually looking beautiful? I use my overlocking machine to overlock the armhole, okay? So now I'm going to be joining the down parts together. This is our back. I've gone ahead to iron, and this is what it looks like. So I'm going to be placing them like this, right side facing each other, and I'll use my lining for the skirt to turn this over just to attain a neat finishing. I'll do that. I'm going to be doing this. I'll be stitching using half of an inch because we left half of an inch for the allowance. I'll repeat the same thing to the other side as well. And also likewise the front, I'll do the same thing. I'll be using the lining. I'm going to flip it this way. I'm going to do it in such a way that the main fabric will be in the upper part, will be in between the right side of the lining and the right side of our actual fabric. Okay, I'll stitch using half of an inch. Okay, so guys, after I was done sewing my sleeve, this is what it looks like. So this is the second one as well. Please make sure that the two, they are facing the same direction. Okay, the overlap, they are facing the same direction. Please, I don't know if you understand. Can you see? Make sure they are facing the same direction. And also I've turned my lining. I've joined the upper part and the lower part together, and I went ahead to weave the sides. Okay, so right now I'll go ahead. As you can see, the dart on my skirt is equal to the dart, aligns with the dart on my upper dress. I'll go ahead and stitch and put my actual body measurements, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so guys, I'm also going to be adding my zipper to the back. Okay, so for this, before then, I've marked 4 inches height of material, and the length is going to be the waistline, waist measurement. So I'm going to be placing this like this, and I'll be stitching and turn it over before joining the side allowance. Okay, please just watch what I'm doing to create that effect that looks like it has a band on the waist. So guys, after I was done doing all of that, this is what it looks like. You can make yours to be smaller than this. Okay, so I've gone ahead to join my sleeve as well to my main dress. And also I've fixed my zipper to my gown, and this is pretty, this is looking good. So as you can see, can you see that my darts, they align. Also, I went ahead to create slit at the back, okay, for easy movement. So guys, I'll be fixing my button behind the camera. You can decide to place it on the dart line, or you can move further. Please, when doing this, it's going to be at the other side. I didn't check my picture before doing this. Please, it's going to be at the other side, okay, not this other end. So I'll fix it and show you the final outcome. Tack it carefully. Okay, so guys, here's the final outcome after I was done tacking my buttons to my dress, and it's looking so pretty. Please, if you find this tutorial interesting, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this video as well. See you guys in my next tutorial. Bye.